Okay, so today, Danny and I are going to kind of be wearing the hats of the, I guess, the movements we fall into in terms of our Jewish identification. I'm a conservative rabbi, so I get thrown into the pot of conservative.
Oxymoron. And I'm an Orthodox Jew.
And Danny is an Orthodox Jew. And we're going to just show how the conversation can take place between people who are brothers and cousins, but have no respect at all for how the other does it. Okay? No.
But it's true. I mean, you do find that a lot of conservative Judaism seem to be much more concerned about sort of social issues than Judaism, if you know what I mean.
Well, yes, unless of course social issues are part of Judaism.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Like you put on your tefillin this morning.
Yes.
You genuflect. You said your blessings over all your food, right?
Yes.
I got up this morning. I saved a child who didn't have enough fresh water for the day.
Wait, you're a good Samaritan as well as being a conservative rabbi.
Is there a difference? You see what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? Samaritan, conservative.
Yeah.
Same word, Danny. Eucharistic.
Okay.
Eucharistic.
Eucharistic. As a conservative rabbi, do you believe in the mikveh, for example? Do men use the mikveh? The men in the conservative world?
So, mikveh is an issue that's one of those topics that doesn't get discussed much.
Because it's not a social issue.
Because it's not a social justice
issue, right?
Well, it would be a social justice issue.
Make it one.
You know
if
what?
you want to bring it back
You know
into the conservative world, make it a social issue.
Why is it that only the women have to go once a month? Why can't the men all? Why aren't we commanded to go once a month? You know what I'm saying?
I hear you,
Danny.
It's not equal. It's not equal. Therefore, if you want to get men in the conservative world to start using the mikveh,
To start taking mikveh seriously.
tell them how unequal the mikveh is in the Jewish world.
That's right.
Bingo. What other issues are there in the conservative Jew which are kind of lacking? We can find maybe a social issue.
They've kind of fallen into disuse.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm not sure everybody is being so strict or diligent in putting on the right shoe first and lacing it up last.
How do you make that a social issue, though?
Well, no, that's your idea, right?
Right, but I would have difficulty finding a social
Danny,
issue.
it's very simple. It's the most ethical thing in the world for you. Right? You see, let me tell you something.
No, I see where you're coming from. I see where you're coming from. It's not an ethical issue, so it doesn't interest the conservative Jews.
Okay. No, but for you, it's so obvious to you that it's an ethical issue. We have to use the ethical element of the action to pull people in to taking it seriously again.
Well,
and I'll tell you how we do that. Most people in this world are not only right-handed, they're right-legged. I'm left-handed. Now I'll tell you something. That halacha has hurt me to the core. Right.
Although I wouldn't be surprised if there are a lot of female stam sofas. I wouldn't be surprised. In which case you could say that
Stam sofrot.
Stamot Sefarim, I think is the right way of saying it. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the halacha was to prevent that from happening, to prevent women from using feathered quills and hence writing Sifrei Torah, Megillot, because at the end of the day, as soon as you allow women to start doing that, there'll be mixed dancing. And I think that is something
You know what?
no conservative Jew can argue with.
It's never been explained to me that way. go back to something you said. You said you don't think the Orthodox world considers the halacha of which shoe you put on first and tie second, etc.
Yeah,
You don't feel like that's one of the most important halachas.
correct.
Yeah. I didn't know that is like a level of important and less important. Can you flesh that out for me?
Well, I'm not sure you don't. I'm not sure you disagree with that in a conservative world. I mean,
But I'm conservative,
okay,
right?
Okay.
And I'm living my whole life here as if every halacha is the same
You are.
importance. Yeah, because I'm trying to prove to myself and to you and to them and to her that I'm a religious Jew,
Right.
even though I'm conservative.
No, but you, in the conservative world, you will give more preference, more higher priority
To left-hander.
No,
Oh.
to the halachot, which are connected to tikkun olam.
Aha. You have us.
Am I wrong?
You have us.
Am
a
I
little,
wrong?
Yes. Yes and no. You have us a little bit confused with the reform movement. Okay.
They're the same thing, though. Aren't
Oh, right.
They look okay.
Beautiful.
They may not be the same.
Beautiful.
They may not
They're
be
not,
the same.
They're both
thing.
not orthodox. You're right.
They're
They're
both
both not orthodox.
They may not be the same thing, but you can certainly use the words conservative and reform interchangeably. They both disagree with halakha. They both ignore halakha and both put an emphasis more on tikkun olam.
They both think that the Orthodox are completely whacked.
Well,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
Oh, so they are.
Let's
basically the
find
same
the
thing.
least common denominator.
Okay, fine. So they
Okay.
are the same thing, reform and conservative.
So,
Yeah.
I will admit to you here on camera that the conservative movement does put a strong emphasis on justice in the social sphere, that we care deeply for the underprivileged and the impoverished, and that perhaps though the mitzvah associated with caring for those populations has been taken to be more incumbent upon us than
Serving God.